Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? It's your boy J Sturdy 420 and or Jordan and or even if you are special or lucky, young Sweye. What's going on? So today we are coming with a brand new sturdy story. This will be the third take. I will probably eventually end up losing count, so don't expect that to be a normal thing. But anyway, without further ado, so today's topic is going to be something that chronologically happened after the first video. Um, the second video is not necessarily in chronological order. It was just the day that I recorded it. I just felt like I really wanted to tell that story. That's my bad. But I'm gonna try to keep these stories in chronological order as much as I can. Not only to help you guys, but also to help my memory, because I really do have a hard time remembering these things, and oftentimes what makes me remember other stories to tell you guys are uh, just talking about these ones and like thinking like back at like, oh dang, this happened too during that time or whatever. Anyway, long story short, I tend to block out a lot of memories just because of different reasons. Uh, so it's really fun to dive back in and unlock these memories with you guys. But with that being said, take a hit if you haven't already. Grab yourself a joint, bong, fucking rig. However you decide to smoke. If you're eating edibles, come back in 30 minutes after they've kicked in. And yeah, let's get it. Anyway, so today's story is going to be about the first high school party that I've ever been to. And also to kind of, I guess, put it into perspective, probably one of the only high school parties I went to for different reasons. So, yeah, let's get right into the topic. So, before I kind of dive too much into like what I actually want to down, I'll explain a little bit the reason why it wasn't much of a partier in high school. Two reasons. One, like I said, growing up, and this was said in a previous video, but growing up with family members who were all who were all smoking weed already, freaking drinking, whatever, blah blah blah. I just had too much of it exposed to me at an early age that it didn't seem fun to me. And at the same time, I also hung out with kids that were 4 or 5 years older than me in elementary school, middle school, and shit like that. So like, I literally saw my best friends firsthand go through so much stupid shit revolving drugs and alcohol whenever I was like in middle school. So like, the fact of the matter is, I didn't want to do that shit in middle school, so there was nothing that inclined me to want to do it in high school. But anyway, I had a couple homies. Real good homie of mine. We're gonna call him Jacob, and he was my nigga, bro. I miss this dude. I actually need to hit him up and see how he's doing. But he was like one of my best friends in high school, dude. Just he always was in a good mood. He was a very funny person. He had an accent because he was South African, and he was just a fucking joy. He was just a joy. I fucking love this dude. But we'd always chop it up in the hallways. I don't think I had any classes with him, or at least I don't remember. But we'd always chop it up in the hallways. And if I am not mistaken, this is my junior year. Um, this was either, yeah, it was. So I think I actually lied. I may have lied too. I chronologically speaking, this may have happened the December. It was in December because it was over Christmas break. But uh chronologically speaking, it may have happened the December before I smoked weed for the very first time in my first video. So with that being said, then it's a little bit out of order. If not, it happened the December after I smoked weed. I just can't remember. I don't think I was smoking weed at this time, and I don't think I ever. No, wait, that's a lie. I did try it, so it is after. So I am right. All right, sorry. Um, but anyway, so Jacob was also the person in the first video, I forgot what I named him, and I'm not about to go look back and figure it out. If I had to take a gander, I think his name was. No, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. But Jacob is the person who suggested that I smoke the blunt first because I rolled it for him and for the homies there. Jacob, and we're gonna use his name Jacob from now on. But Jacob's that homie. Jacob's that same homie. He's South African. He's the homie. Okay. Anyway, so we're talking. This is the day before Christmas break starts, right? And he's talking about, hey, bro, I'm gonna throw this fucking party. I'm trying to imitate his accent. That's disrespectful. Fucking Jesus. He's like, bro, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna invite all these girls to this party, man, and we're gonna have a good old time. You should come to this party. You know what I mean? And keep in mind, Jacob was very aware of me not doing anything, being straight edge. I think that's one thing he respected about me. But I was still fun to be around. I was still, a good person, whatever. Um, but regardless, he was like, you should come over. You should let yourself go. You should, get your shot at the girls. Let's live it up. And I was like, okay, cool. That sounds cool. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, this really isn't my scene. You know, in high school, I'm gonna admit, and like I said, this is my junior year. It didn't really take it until it was at my senior year where I really kind of felt the high school experiences to where like, wow, I didn't give a fuck. I like, you know what I mean? But my junior year, I actually did care quite a bit about school, about my grades, about trying to keep myself separated from bad kids, quote unquote. And the reason why I hung out with Jacob was just because he was such a good friend, and he was a good friend of another friend of mine, who we haven't introduced yet. So I'm not gonna say a name for him just because I'll wait till a story is relevant with him. But you know, really good friend of my friend, and that kid that he was really good friends with. I've been friends with that man, even to this day. But I've been friends with him since kindergarten. You know what I mean? So he's a lifelong homie, and so that's kind of how I met Jacob, and just through him we became really close and close, and Jacob just became a really close homie. Excuse me one more time. But regardless, as I was saying, in the back of my mind, I was like thinking that maybe it's not the best idea for me to go to this party. Granted, I still had like 10 days to decide because, this party was a little bit into spring or in winter break, excuse me. And maybe not 10 days. Maybe that's a little bit of exaggeration, but it felt like 10 days. I had a bunch of time. Maybe it was realistically like 3 or 4. But I had a bunch of time to decide whether I wanted to fucking go to this party or not. And on the very last moment, whenever he like Snapchatted that it was going on and whatever, and that's whenever I decided I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna go. So I asked my parents, and back then my parents didn't really care what I did, and by parents I really mean my dad. My dad was dating this woman who became my stepmom, but at the time she wasn't my stepmom. But I still kind of considered her a parent of mine just because she took care of me in that sense. I have a couple of parents in that same regard. You know what I mean? But my dad didn't really care what I did, especially at that time. I think he was just more or less um, concerned if I was safe or not. And I told him everywhere I was going, who I was with, and when I would be, what I was doing and whatnot. And I would be completely honest with him. I never sugarcoated anything from him. He never sugarcoated anything from me. We just always had that type of bond. You know what I mean? Just real man to man, father son type bond. And so he was cool with it. Nothing. He's like, just don't get too drunk. Blah blah blah. If you decide to drink, don't do anything. Don't do hard drugs. Blah blah blah. You just got to real. The cops come, do what you got to do. Blah blah blah. But he trusted me enough, and he knew I was responsible enough as a young teenager. I guess as a teenager, I was gonna say young adult, but um, he trusted me into the sense of like, I could take care of myself, and I could. I was a very, very mature kid. Um, so I had my dad's girlfriend at the time. She dropped me off. Um, and she was like, "Let me know whenever I need to pick you up." I was like, "Okay." I get there. It's about 8:30. You know, and so I'm thinking whenever I walk into this place, and especially based off of the video that Jacob sent me, I'm thinking that not only is there gonna be just hella people here in general, there's just gonna be hella girls. We're just gonna be dancing and vibing. I walk in. Tell me why there's fucking 18 fucking parents in the middle of the fucking floor dancing to mid 2000s music, bro. Like they are getting crunk to fucking prime Usher. I'm talking about prime Nelly. And then like all of a sudden, you know, Jacob sees me, comes in, he's like, "Yo, what's up, blah blah blah." Keep in mind, an adult answered the door. It was like some random fucking parent. It wasn't even Jacob's parents. But Jacob's parents were fucking lit. Everybody's parents down the fucking block was lit, bro. They were gone off the Henny. They were gone off the vodka. They were fucking sauced, bro. Um, and I just walk in that bitch there, and all of a sudden, that's whenever Jacob changes the tunes, went serious. And then so we got into that real 2016, I think it was in 2016, I want to say. There's some real 2016 shit. I'm talking prime Lil Yachty, like I'm like his newest song was literally fucking uh Good Day and shit like that off of his very first album, Lil Bo. And then bumping X, look at me all the time, and shit like that. Fat Nick was on rotation, bro. Fucking a little bit of Puya. You know what I mean? The fucking prime classics are what we coming in with. But, regardless, we're chilling and we're having a fucking ball. Like I didn't even think like that it was gonna be fun. Like I was like really weirded out that there was just parents all around and shit like that. Like there's people drinking with their parents. But I guess it makes sense because it's safe. And where I live, it's legal if you drink with your parents as long as it's indoors. As long as you have to be a certain age, which I think the age is fucking, I want to say 16, 15 or 16. And I think you can have, technically, you're only allowed to have 2 glasses, but, I ain't gonna be the snitch there. But either way, we were all having, except for me, I wasn't really drinking. I still didn't drink. But we all had our little, you know, 2 sips, 2 glasses, you know what I mean? And so everybody was crunk. Everybody was fucking lit. And then all of the teenagers moved upstairs. I can't remember if we were exiled upstairs because the parents wanted their alone time downstairs or, to do parents things, or if we were just trying to do some fuck shit like smoke some weed or something like that. I couldn't tell you what the circumstance was. But either way, we just went upstairs. I think if I had to look back, and I would hope, I pray to God it's because we just wanted to get away from the adults because they were cramping our style, you know what I mean? Um, so we're upstairs, we're chilling. At this point, this is whenever I'm seeing like familiar faces. So a good friend of mine that was there as well, we're gonna call him Dustin. Pretty good homie. Um, More of an acquaintance, I'd say, but still pretty good homie. But he was there. And that was pretty much it as far as like notable people that I kind of had a pass with. Other than that, everybody else there was kind of like my first or second time interacting with these people. Still good people, but just didn't hang out with them much prior to this day. So I remember that after we moved upstairs, Jacob fucking turns on some music in his room. We're all chilling in his room, and there's like fucking 16 heads in this fucking room. And I can't really remember what happened. It's really all a blur for good reason. But, I remember we started smoking. We like went onto his roof. Like his window had like access to his roof. So like a couple of us went onto his roof and we just started smoking. And I think that was the worst part about that because not only did their neighbors know that we were having a fucking party, it was also just really bad in the sense of fucking like the neighborhood that this party happened in, it's so snobby, so fucking snobby that it's just like people are just gonna snitch regardless. You know, that there's a fucking party, that there's loud noises and shit like that. Like, you know, the houses are close together. So it was just already an L right there. And then we're fucking teenagers smoking on the roof outside. You know what I mean? So pretty quickly the cops showed up about 20 minutes after that. So we're like, oh fuck, fuck. So we hit everything, you know, blah blah blah. And I remember going downstairs, and for whatever reason, I was the one who answered the door. You feel me? I'm the one who answered the door. Can we? I'm at my friend's house, and there is adults there, a good 12 of them, and I'm the only one sober enough to answer the door to talk to the cop. Let that one sink in. And at that point, I didn't realize that the story was gonna take this long. So with that being said, I'm going to split this into two parts. So this is just gonna be part one. But I am gonna split this into two parts, and then we'll have the second part coming out. Probably the day after this video comes out, just for relevance. I won't wait a couple days or a week or whatever. This will come out back to back. Um, or they might come out at the same day. Either way, they're gonna come out very fast within each other. But yeah, without further ado, this has been your boy Jordan J Sturdy, Young Sweye. You already know the DZ. I'm fucking out of here.